up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day. Hopefully your week has started out well. Mine's gone quite well. This week has just been crazy for business. I've had a lot of new clients trying to get signed up and moving forward, so just getting a chance to make a video here for you. So have been paying attention to some things, have some updates on some XRP, some XDC, some LCX news. But first I wanted to share some articles that I found interesting that kind of pieced together some more macroeconomic stuff. You know, I like to really look at the big picture on things. I found this article here talking about, you know, essentially with where the price is right now on everything, just a lot of whales are gobbling up Bitcoin. Surprise, surprise there. You see, this was a trending tweet that there was a whale that was actually buying purchases ranging from $2 to $18 million worth of Bitcoin every few hours, averaging 48,000 Bitcoin per purchase. So we know the whales are accumulating in these prices, even though we've taken massive dumps. Hopefully you've held strong if you are in, you know, in a bad shape. You know, if you're invested in the right assets, then you know we're going long term. And personally, I've been buying some more of some key picks. So, you know, don't panic sell. Now, also, it's really interesting what Jerome Powell is going to say tomorrow. Tomorrow is going to have a very impactful effect on the overall markets. We'll have some more clarity on actually what will happen. So you're saying crypto markets are watching the Federal Reserve over rising concerns of the stimulus pullback. So we're going to see actually what happens this week. The Wednesday Fed here will be critical. I'm not sure why this article says watching a Tuesday meeting. I think they meant to say the meeting tomorrow. That's usually when they meet. The Wednesday Fed meeting will be critical, and we don't expect recent market volatility to have softened. Chairman old Jerome Powell's stance on rates and balance sheet runoff, said Nicholas Collis, co-founder of the Data Trek Research. The meeting of the Federal Open Market Committee comes at the correlation between Bitcoin and equities continuing to tighten. They're basically saying the markets are really trending in lockstep now. So whereas Bitcoin used to trend opposite, they're kind of trending the same, which they're saying is alarming. Bitcoin has been historically uncorrelated to other asset classes such as equities, bonds, and gold. So it'll be interesting. They're trying to say, hey, basically Bitcoin is moving away from these emergency pandemic settings to more normal levels. So let's pay attention tomorrow to what actually happens. And I'll say here at the very end, if in the statement the Fed does not insert language that says it will be appropriate to alter, adjust policy, then the market will take that as a signal that rates might not rise until May or June. And that would cause a powerfully dovish response given markets have priced in a March hike. So basically, if he says, we're adjusting our policy, who knows? We might actually have a little run start tomorrow. So let's pay attention to what happens. Now, I found this interesting too. The IMF is asking El Salvador to remove their Bitcoin legal tender status. That's interesting. So as El Salvador's financial woes continue, the IMF is recommending the country abandon its Bitcoin plans. So they're basically saying, look, it's destabilizing, it's dangerous. They're saying Bitcoin poses significant risks to financial stability and consumer protection. IMF executive directors said in their concluding statement on El Salvador's Article 4 consultation. So essentially they're saying that there's large risks associated with the use of Bitcoin. They urged the authorities to narrow the scope of the Bitcoin law by removing Bitcoin's legal tender status. So essentially they want more greater regulatory oversight. Shocker there. Listen, the people at the top, they don't know borders. Money doesn't know borders, you know, so they want to make sure that they can control it. Anyway, the statement on Bitcoin and Chivo shows this is a too close to de-dollarization for comfort, said Natalie Marshik, head of emerging market sovereign research at Stifel Financial. The tone of the statement is quite negative. So we'll see what they end up doing. The IMF projects that El Salvador's fiscal deficit is going to reach 5.75% in 2021. Let's pay attention to that. Now, moving on here, this is definitely another impactful thing. Obviously, everyone's paying attention to the Russia-Ukraine conflict, but I found this here on Reuters, Ukraine conflict would actually keep inflation higher longer, which would mean they would have to keep, printing things, keep that money moving, is what I'm taking from that article. And basically, an escalated conflict between Russia and Ukraine would likely further increase energy costs and commodities prices for many countries, keeping headline inflation rates elevated for longer. So paying attention to that as well is going to have a huge effect. This time around, conflict were to happen, you would see an increase in energy prices. Basically, they're comparing it to the last time in 2014 when Russia annexed the Crimea region of the Ukraine. Energy prices fell quite sharply amid low demand and ample shale gas supplies. That's a big area there for that kind of stuff. So prices of other commodities exported by Russia were also rising and could trigger a bigger, broad-based increase in commodities prices. So, this is going to be an interesting spring for sure. Not just for crypto, but just the overall markets in general. All right, now moving on here. Ripple, this was announced today. This is actually from today. Ripple announces stock buybacks, nabs $15 billion valuation. So if you're in the XRP army, you'll find this interesting. Smash the like button if you are. Distributed ledger tech company Ripple nabbed $15 billion valuation after a private stock buyback. So basically, the company's repurchasing equity shares, even despite this lawsuit. And 2021, by the way, was the most profitable year for Ripple, despite being under lawsuit by the SEC. The company's repurchasing in a Series C, which includes Tetragon, a company that unsuccessfully sued Ripple last year. Interesting. At the time of the previous case, Ripple was valued at $10 billion. The buyback places Ripple's valuation at $15 billion. And reflects Ripple's strong position in the market and global company momentum. Ripple's global business has grown exponentially, and 2021 was the company's best year to date, the company said. And basically, RippleNet platform has seen transactions double in 2021. It signed Bhutan, as we know, and Palau as CBDC. Client's move comes, like I said, amid the lawsuit. So, again, the lawsuit is going to have an effect and an ending sometime this year. So hang tight, keep buying more. Not financial advice, kind of financial advice. Do what you want. Now, this is off of Ripple directly here. You see Crypto 2022, the new normal in finance. I'm not going to read all of this. I'll link it here. This is right off their Insights blog. But just main things that we've seen here, some takeaways, more things that are actually that they're working on behind the scenes. They highlight the persistent and global nature of the pandemic continuing to really show the inefficiencies within the world's global, domestic, cross-border payment systems. Just a lot of issues. It was exacerbated, especially to low and middle income nations back during the pandemic. So Brooke Entwistle, managing director of APAC, which is the Asia Pacific and Middle Eastern countries, they point to the multiple CBDC projects over the last year and link to the national real-time payment systems that are motivated to help improve. So Ripple definitely is making huge strides there. And yes, some people say there's other companies that are going to be moving along. But the space, over the next few years, as we continue to get adoption, again, crypto right now is at the same level of adoption as internet in 1998, 1999. I'm sure you've seen that chart circling around the crypto Twitter. So this space is only going to continue to get larger over time, and it's only going to continue to get more and more adoption as we have more clarity and things. Definitely the regulations, having that in place and what ends up actually happening, not just here in the United States, but we really need to, as you see here, important efforts like the European Union's markets and crypto assets, the MiCA. We really need to pay attention to just what's happening globally as well. So this will be like a European type regulation, which obviously is going to impact things. A lot of laws are tied into, Europe. So, like for instance, and we'll talk about this here in a little bit more detail, like global trade law, finance law is actually, a lot of that are English laws. So paying attention to other countries is going to, as a whole, what we want to pay attention to for worldwide crypto type adoption. Now, you see, like I said, the MiCA regulation, which is the European Union's markets and crypto assets, are expected to move forward in 2022, though it might not go into effect. Now, according to Cindy Young, Managing Director of Europe, this increase in regulation plays a critical role giving companies confidence to enter the space or partner with crypto providers. Regulation enables nascent technologies to become the new normal, which is what we want. You see, our General Counsel Stu Alderati of Ripple also predicts that at least one country will appoint a crypto-specific regulator / czar within the next year. Hopes the United States has not fallen behind. So we'll see here. And then they do mention a multi-chain future. So we know interoperability is a common theme for 2022 amongst the Ripple leadership team. We know they have connections there with Quant. Obviously, Quant tied in there with the UK and the Digital Pound Foundation, particularly in its ability to help realize more mainstream adoption and applications for crypto. So we know where things are going, and it's definitely a multi-chain future. And having an asset like XRP that can bridge different CBDCs is exactly what it's primed for. Now, XDC, let's talk about this as well, because this is really awesome. XDC Network just went over, and shout out to Sal, We Are XDC here. He posted this on Mr. Blockchain on Twitter. 2 billion XDC staked to the smart contract, 2 billion locked away on masternodes. That's 200 nodes on the network there. Now, I want to say to actually run a masternode, you need a minimum of 10 million XDC to run like your own masternode. So quite a big chunk there. Definitely don't have 10 million of them myself, but correct me if I'm wrong. Leave me a comment below if I have that number wrong, but I want to say I read that before. That's really exciting to see that we are continuing to boost up there. Now, this is interesting here. This article on News BTC is trying to source this. XDC Network takes center stage amid Solana network crash, and they're basically saying that developers are looking to other outlets essentially here. Another day, another 48-hour Solana outage. This time, it's the 6th time it's happened in 3 months. Zero faith. So people are leaving Solana, and Solana's price action not doing very well. Network crash for the 6th time. Just people are leaving them. They're looking for other options. And one of those options, of course, we know is XDC, right? They're looking at that. XDC, Binance Smart Chain, Phantom, Avalanche, and Terra, to name a few. But we know XDC is really the only one that has those ties to those massive global trade finance connections, right? You see the recent blockchain network issues encountered by the Sol network upset some of the crypto community members. As a result, investors have started to consider other blockchain networks that could meet the expectations when it comes to everyday crypto. XDC chain, XDC network chain is what, I don't think that's what it's called, but XDC network is one of the crypto platforms to catch the attention of global investors. So we're going to continue to watch that. And they just basically give shout out to it, and they say the XDC protocol designed to support smart contracts in a seamless way. So I like how they're marketing it. And you see here over 3,800 smart contracts have been created on the XDC network. Let me actually pull this sweet looking graph up here. This was off of medium.com from the XDC Foundation. XDC Foundation Communications here. Look at this chart, and you can see just how many smart contracts we've seen. XDC Network smart contract creation, and all the way through January 11th, 2022. I mean, this is just like an exponential parabolic chart of the actual smart contract growth. So we want to pay attention to that and pay attention to this continuing to get network adoption and continuing to grow. Now check this out. Check this tweet out from Andre Casterman. He was making, we've talked about the MLETR, which is essentially the law to standardize electronic documents. And the main problem with a lot of players and institutions not being able to take advantage of tokenization is specifically when it comes to trade assets, like take their bills of lading and their Net 30 accounts and putting those on the blockchain so they can digitize them and take their P&Ls and their most recent, any kind of digital or trade document needs to be digitalized so that also those trades can be executed digitally and do not have to wait on paper copies. So essentially, English law is widely used around the world for global trade finance. So this means that once the English laws are now aligned to the MLETR, many banks around the world dealing on that legal basis will be offered the option to adopt digital negotiable instruments as per ITFA, the International Trade Finance Association. So we will see, and we see here Captain Sparrow this guy here was asking him, how long is it going to take? 1, 2, or 3 years for XDC to still follow, or he said XDC still follows the market, especially Bitcoin. I say that not because I don't have patience, but I see the same stories I repeat. Look at XRP and their partnerships on demand liquidity. And Andre actually answered 8 hours ago and says the key metric to watch is the total crypto market cap. It needs to grow to 5 and then quickly to 10 trillion US dollars. So of course, Andre Cashman, global connections there to those top banks. He's saying it's going to grow to 5 to 10, or he says it needs to grow, but of course we know that it will. That will lift the leading utility tokens. In the meantime, we keep on attracting early adopters and grow actual use. So I'm very excited about that. He's predicting 5 to 10. He said, I grow to 5 and then quickly. So it's like once we hit that 5 trillion mark, quickly get to 10 trillion. That's going to be a key metric to watch the growth of this. Now, moving on here, you see some Casper news from Meta Parliker, their CTO of Casper. She was essentially announcing that today the IPWE is live, which is essentially the founders of IPWE understand they've created a way to essentially discover that knowing that who owns a patent and being able to trade those patents and patent data and allowing it and opening it up to public data, it's a pivotal moment here. You see, what patent data is publicly available, the teams in terms of sales of patents between entities has to remain private. So they're just talking about partnering with that, and also IBM partnering with them to build an NFT-based solution to create this marketplace of patents. Patents will be minted as NFTs on the public Casper network. Each patent NFT will contain the patent's associated metadata on the chain. When a patent is bought and sold, the terms of the sale are encrypted and stored securely in a manner that only the participants in the sale can view the terms. So this is being built right now on Casper Network, not another network, Casper Network. The sale of patents, that's enterprise adoption. To all the critics that say it's not happening, this is right here. The sale, well, not necessarily enterprise adoption, but will open up the door because IBM, these big companies, they have lots of patents on a yearly basis. They want to be able to protect their intellectual property. So enterprise use case, actually. When a patent is bought and sold, the terms of the sale are encrypted. I've already said that basically. Future work includes adding more public information about patents, such as legal cases, and providing a single source of truth about a patent's life cycle. So they're saying IBM's specifically choosing to work with Casper Network because of the security, performance, and features available at Layer 1 that they need. Casper Labs provided the go live support to make both of them successful. So very exciting to watch this. And of course, I'm continuing to accumulate this one as well. I feel like Casper is it's going to be such a nice hold long term. Imagine how those early Ethereum holders felt. Well, we're going to feel that same way, I believe. Now, I wanted to wrap up with this here. LCX, they're saying is proud to feature in the Crypto Valley top 50 companies per sector. So you see here, they made the list as one of the top organizations in the blockchain financial industry sector. This is really focused on like the Swiss financial system, but the Swiss is some of the most wealthy and connected financial systems in the world. So, among good company here. And they're saying we're listed as one of the best performing blockchain products in Crypto Valley. So you can see the full report. I'll link it in my description. But, that's awesome. I'm glad I'm here. I know they had some recent turmoil a few weeks ago with the hack, but they handled it with aplomb. And I feel like, again, this is going to be one of those. I'm holding it. I'll be very happy to be able in the future to trade using the tokens to invest in other assets. Who knows? It's going to really connect into a lot of different banking systems. So with that being said, guys, that's all I got in this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed an update and just kind of a mishmash of things. Don't forget to leave a like, and I would love to hear from you. Have any questions on anything? What did you think of this? What do you think about what's going on? Are there any things that you would like to see me cover or talk about in particular? And also, are there any, what I mainly want to know is what coins, what projects and companies are you investing in during this dip? I would love to hear your comments below in this video, and I'll see you on the next video.